Now it's time now for our weekly Asia View segment. And after months of lobbying and debate, on Friday, the European Commission voted and decided on levies of up to 45% on Chinese-made EVs, electric vehicles, of course. Well, we're going to bring you the latest reaction to that in this week's Asia View from Beijing, and we're joined by our correspondent, Yena Lee. Yena, what's the official take then on this where you are?
Well, China's Ministry of Commerce called the European actions unfair, non-compliant and unreasonable, adding that its, I quote, protectionist approach is a serious violation of WTO rules. But Beijing hasn't completely given up on the idea of finding a better deal. They're really jumping on the fact that Brussels signaled that they're willing to find another way if possible. Officials here saying that negotiations, continue this Monday. This hopeful sentiment is reflected in a lot of state media here, with the digital outlet, The Paper, reiterating that it's a critical month ahead for policymakers on this issue. They have an article outlining what has yet to be set in stone and explaining the complex mechanisms of the EU decision-making process. Meanwhile, the tabloid, the Global Times, highlights the division within the bloc's countries, as well as discontent from German car makers. Finally, the Chinese Communist Party's mouthpiece, the People's Daily, insists that China is an innocent victim in all of this and has so far shown great restraint and goodwill.
Yeah, is this the official start then to a trade war?
Well, fears of a tit-for-tat started long ago. The Commission's investigation into Chinese electric vehicle companies started a year ago with accusations that Beijing is pouring in so much money, so much aid and subsidies into the industry that it's allegedly created this unlevel playing field vis-a-vis European car makers. And then Beijing started investigations into European pork, brandy and dairy. The latter will have the biggest consequences on Spanish farmers and the last two on French producers. In fact, representatives of the French cognac industry said that they were being sacrificed and that their authorities had abandoned them. That said, analysts think that Beijing's response is unlikely to be too damning in any case. We're talking about tariffs of up to 45% right now. It's a lot more softer, if you will, than what the US has started to do, which is a tariff of a maximum of 100% on Chinese EV imports. And most of all, well, the Chinese economy just simply can't afford to be in another trade war with the EU, even though it's already got one with the US.
Yeah, thanks very much, Yena Lee, there with this week's Asia View.